No.
Call to order the Gurnee Village Board regular meeting of November 25th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Garner.
Here.
O'Brien.
Present.
Balmas.
Present.
Thorstenson.
Here.
Woodside.
Present.
Ross.
Here.
6 present.
You can stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. First item on the agenda, approval of consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Balmas, second by Trustee O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. 6 aye.
Motion carries. Pat?
Item number 1, approval of the minutes from the November 11, 2024 meeting. Item number 2, approval of ordinance 2024-71, amending Chapter 32, Section 32-36, entitled Planning and Zoning Fees of the Gurnee Municipal Code. Item number 3, approval of ordinance 2024-72, authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with HMG Engineers, Inc. for engineering services for the Quality Acres Sanitary Sewer Extension. Item number 4, approval of resolution 2024-08, establishing certain property of the Village of Gurnee to be surplus, miscellaneous police department found, abandoned, or surplus property. Item number 5, approval of Information System Division's recommendation to renew a 1-year Microsoft Software Assurance Maintenance Agreement with Dell Marketing LP at an estimated cost of $29,000, State of Illinois Department of Innovation and Technology contract. Item number 6, approval of request from Public Works Department to purchase 10 fire hydrant assemblies from the low bidder, Zybel Water Service Products, at a cost of $52,664.98. Item number 7, approval payroll for period ending November 15, 2024, in the amount of $1,052,048.04. Item number 8, approval of bills for period ending November 25, 2024, in the amount of $745,219.15.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Garner, second by Trustee Thorstenson. Roll call, please.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. 6 aye.
Motion carries. On to petitions and communications. Tonight we're recognizing Community Service Officer Kathy Ronzani, 40 years of service to the Village of Gurnee.
Kathy, come on up. Kathy Renzani, the longest-serving employee of the Village of Gurnee with an impressive 40 years of service, has been a dedicated community service officer since 1984. Over nearly 4 decades, she's become a cornerstone of the department, receiving over a dozen letters of appreciation from the public and other police departments, along with numerous commendations, unit citations, letters of recognition, and appreciation. Kathy has played a vital role in training every community service officer who has joined after her, imparting valuable skills and knowledge essential to the role. Her responsibilities include responding to non-criminal complaints, police escorts, animal control and rescue. With Gurnee welcoming approximately 26 million visitors annually, Kathy has become an expert at assisting with vehicle lockouts, routinely helping both residents and visitors. Beyond these duties, Kathy performs house watches for out-of-town residents, assists with disabled vehicles, and enforces ordinances. She also manages traffic control, aids motorists, performs courier service, and consistently provides responsive, courteous, and efficient service to the residents and general public. Her commitment to her community and her exemplary service have made her an invaluable asset to Gurnee. Along with that, so 40 years of service, but Kathy has actually worked for the village 42 years. 2 years part-time, one as a records clerk and the other as a traffic control officer. 3 years? 3 years. Traffic control officer. Yes, full credit. So besides the 40 years of full-time, 3 years of part-time, And when I pulled her file to get a picture, because normally when somebody comes in, we get a picture of them, all that was there was film negatives, which a lot of the officers that are new wouldn't even know what that is right now. So with that, we have our first Legacy Award, presented to Kathy Renzani in honor of 40 years of exemplary service. Your commitment and devotion have profoundly enriched our community, leaving a lasting legacy with deep gratitude and recognition for your dedication and enduring impact of your contributions. Congratulations.
Now, the deputy chief actually said I had to give a 10-minute speech. No, not going to happen. But I just want to thank everybody because we truly have a talented, diverse group of people that work here. And the village, I hope you appreciate that the differences and the amount of just great people that we have working here. Thank you. Sure.
Well, the police department must be doing something right for someone to stay 40 years, right, Kathy? So thanks again. On to new business. Item number 1, approval request from the police department to waive bidding requirements and purchase 75 Motorola Starcom APX N70 radios at a cost of $528,500.27, and 7 years of subscription services at a cost of $111,857.25 for Motorola Solutions, Lake County bulk purchasing discount of $32,988.45. Pat.
Sure. So had a memo in your packet from Acting Chief Gahn on this. So those of you that were here in 2015, you remember we approved an agreement with Motorola Solutions that allowed the police department to transition to Starcom. At that time, that was radio consoles, portable radios, radio voting equipment, and 911 answering equipment. It was a $1.3 million contract. So the move to Lakecom, the answering equipment responsibilities will transfer to that organization, so we won't have that cost anymore, but we are still responsible for the radios. So current radios are 7 years old, reached into their useful life, no longer supported by Motorola. So the department is requesting to move forward with replacing those. The new radios have obviously the latest technology, advanced features. Some of it includes that they automatically switch from Starcom to LTE cellular when a weak signal is detected. They allow real-time updates and changes to radio programming over the air, thereby eliminating downtime for manual updates. They display officer location on the radio screen, enabling supervisors to efficiently establish perimeters during critical incidents and provide real-time and historical location tracking of the officers even when they're away from their vehicles, and improve situational awareness and enhancing after-action reporting. So the new radios, like the old ones, have a 7-year lifespan. So the agreement before you, as the mayor read, 75 radios at a little over $528,000 and 7 years of subscription services at a little over $111,000. So the total over the 7-year term is $640,357.42. We originally were going to include this in next year's JetSP budget, but as you know, all the individual JetSPs are going away and going to combine into one JetSP for Lakecom here in the near future. So that combined with the about $33,000 discount because of the Lake County bulk purchase related to the move to consolidation, staff is looking to move forward now. To pay for this, there's some savings in the capital fund related to the roadway program. So you remember we had excellent pricing on the roadway program this year to the point that we actually added almost an additional mile of roadways to this year's program back in April, but we still should have about $200,000 or $300,000 left over at the end of when Nick's done with this year's roadway program. The remaining couple $100,000 will come from savings and other capital line items that weren't going to be spent during this budget year. So going forward, we're going to try to work on a plan where we're not replacing these all in one foul swoop, try to stagger them out a little bit so we're not doing 75 at a time. So we've got 7 years to figure that out. But again, current radios at the end of their useful life, and you've got the little bit of savings from the county purchase, so staff's recommending to move forward at this time. So Jeremy's here if there's questions from an operations standpoint, and Finance Director Godsell's here if there's questions related to the funding. So,
any questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Oh,
Second.
okay, well, I'll take the motion by Trustee Woodside, second by Trustee Ross, and discussion, Trustee Thorstensen.
So I just had a question. It's more my understanding for the roadway, the credit coming out of, or not credit, but the adjusted monies coming out of the roadway. Have we done that, or do we need a line item for these going forward if you're going to break up the purchase?
yeah, no, it'll just be an internal transfer at the end of the fiscal year, so it's all within the same fund, so
Trying to
there's
keep
no
it within
village
the
board
same-
action needed. Yeah, if it was moving from this fund to a different fund, we'd have to come back for a budget amendment, but we're not. It's all staying in the same fund.
So they're in the same fund category, or you're trying to keep it in the same budget year, or both?
Both. So they're within the same fund. They're both within the capital fund, and they'll both, the savings and the expense will both be in this 24-25 year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? There being none, roll call, please.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. 6-0.
Motion carries. Item number 2, approval request from Police Department to waive bidding requirements and award upfitting of 1 evidence technician vehicle and 8 patrol squads to Chicago Parts and Sound Police Department Systems, PDS, at a cost of $209,549.42. Police Department Units 140, 142, 148, 155, 158, 159, 160, 175, and 177. Pat?
Sure. And if you're curious what units these are, the new ones are sitting out in front of the police department. So had a memo from our fleet management administrator, Craig Lambrick, on this with the quotes attached. So previously we had trouble getting the actual squads themselves. Now we're having issues with getting them upfitted. So the new squads are sitting out in front of the police department. They've been there for, I don't know, the last month or so. Before that, they were sitting up at Public Works for a couple months. So we've had the vehicles on hand for the last 3 or 4 months. As Craig covered in the memo, so we previously worked with 2 other upfitters. The most recent one has had staffing issues and is just way behind to the point that we started to search for another option. Chicago Parts and Sound is someone that we've worked with in the past as far as purchasing equipment. They also upfit vehicles. They've got a 5-acre facility down in Tinley Park that can accommodate over 200 vehicles. Fleet administrator and one of the police sergeants that's responsible for the fleet took one of the fully fitted squads down there to the facility to have them take a look at it, talk about our needs, see if they had any suggestions for improvements. So following that meeting, staff was really impressed by the facility, by their knowledge, what they can bring to the table, so they solicited a quote from them. The quotes were attached, so the regular squads are a little over $23,000 each. The quote, I think you've got almost 40 pieces of equipment that go into the squads, and then the labor on top of that. The ET vehicles, a couple $1,000s more because of the upgraded vault box that goes in the back as far as storing evidence. And again, that has over 40 pieces of equipment that goes into the upfitting. So I listed some of them here: light bar, push bumper, utility light bar, siren speaker, power distribution panel, center console, HD telescoping monitor pole, the side mirror lights, the prisoner partition and seat, rear window barrier, the vault in the back, the other lighting that goes along with it. So again, this is for the 9 squads that are sitting out in front of the police department. If approved tonight, we're probably looking at a March upfitting, which is sooner than our other upfitter could get to the vehicle. So it's still a couple months off, but in a better spot than we were with the previous vendor. So staff is looking to move forward with that. The money's in this year's budget for it.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Valmus, second by Trustee O'Brien. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Garner. Aye. O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. 6
Motion carries. Item number 3, approval of request from Public Works Department to waive bidding requirements and purchase one Fecon Stumpex and one Bomalite 40-inch brush mulcher from McCullough Kubota of Gurnee at a cost of $46,258. Pat?
Sure. So again, two budgeted pieces of equipment in the capital fund for Public Works. One is a stump remover. So in the past, Public Works has requested a stump grinder. This one's actually different. It attaches to the combination machine and kind of spins like a corkscrew to remove the stump. In this case, the combination machine is usually on site anyways to help haul away wood, so you're not bringing an extra truck and piece of equipment there. This piece of equipment's already on site. Took a look at the costs incurred from contracting out stump removal in the past to a third party, the past 3 years, about $26,000 annually. That covers the cost of the Stumpex there. Also, is one of our common complaints that Public Works gets. We'll go around, remove emerald ash borer trees in the parkway, and then it's months later before the stump contractor shows up. So we're getting calls as far as, you took the tree down, how come you didn't remove the stump? We're at the mercy of the contractor, so we'll be able to provide a little bit better customer service from that regard. The mulcher, again, is a bigger piece of equipment that would go on one of our larger backhoes or excavators. The current one that we use on the Mini X is really for tall grass and small brush. So we've been using it on some material that it's really not intended for and has been beating the machine up. This is the right piece of equipment. So, I mean, they've got some spots around town, trail spots and along roadways like Fuller, 21, Northwestern, where there's some steep slopes and heavier woody material that you need a larger piece of equipment for. So, again, included in the budget, and is the right piece of equipment for some of the asks that come in from the community as far as keeping that brush cut back.
All right, thanks. Any questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Motion by trustee Garner.
Yeah.
Second by trustee Thorstenson. Roll call, please.
Garner. Aye. O'Brien.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. 6 aye.
Motion carries. On to the last item is public comment. If you'd like to speak tonight, you could step to the microphone and state your name.
My name is Kevin Moss. My last name is spelled M-O-S-S. Usually I come here and yell at you guys, but I'm hoping I could just have an exchange of information here. Have any of you been by the Outback Steakhouse, the old one, on Northridge Drive lately? It's all broken windows, doors are not shut, they have a table that's trying to hold one closed, but that doesn't deter the person that clawed through the wall next to the rear door. And that's something that everybody in those hotels and everybody at Cracker Barrel sees every day. And their image about Gurnee is broken windows on a building. Why haven't you boarded it up? It's an attractive nuisance.
So normally we don't have that exchange, but it's something I certainly will take a note of, and then I'll speak with David Ziegler, who then talks to our code ordinance person, and then we can interact with you just to update you. If
You don't have to interact with me. Fix it, and I'll know it's done.
All right.
Now, number 2 is about 5 months ago, I let the village know through your portals or whatever it is that your snowplows 2 years ago knocked over an electrical or a telephone appearance box right near the McDonald's there. It's still leaning against the tree after 2 years. Please, can you get it straightened up so it doesn't get knocked over anymore? It looks terrible. Everyone sees it that goes down that road.
That's at Dilly's.
Yeah, well, Dilly's Northridge, whatever you call it there, by the McDonald's.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Yeah, thank you. That's good.
Thanks, Kevin.
Keith Owen, 6464 Drow Drive. Good evening. Once again, Pat, thank you very much for the podium and the mics that everybody can hear loud and clear. I'm up here tonight to talk about communication. Now, transparency is something that I think the village does a great job on. There's a lot of communication. The website is, I'm assuming, is in the process of being updated, but still it's got a lot of information. The mayor gets out and about, and that's great. We even had a very nice open public forum about the east side, and all that stuff is great. But transparency basically just means our ability to see what you're doing. And that's very important in government. What I'm here to talk about tonight is communication, because transparency just means the citizens can see what's going on. But I think we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard in terms of communication, a two-way communication. Now, I know some of these things have been talked about, some of these things have actually been done in the past, but I just want to bring it to your attention once again for your consideration. So the first would be to restore a public comment time at the beginning of trustee meetings, limiting the period for old or new business matters to be discussed and voted on at that meeting. So this is not the open communication, the open comments like we're having right now. That would still remain at the end of the meeting. But at the beginning of the meeting, if there's something on the agenda under old or new business, not the consent decree, and somebody wanted to speak to that, I think that would give people an opportunity to be heard one more time before you have to make a vote. The way the things are now, the agenda is published on a Wednesday, and I'm sure there's some communication back and forth through the website and things like that. But in a public setting like this, there's no opportunity for the public to speak about some items that come up that haven't gone before the Planning and Zoning Board or haven't been considered by this board before. I know there was a public comment section prior to the beginning of the meeting in the past, which then went away around the time of the ETO situation, but I'm asking if you would consider reinstating that. Now, you can put whatever rules you want on it, limit it to 30 minutes, limit it to a number of people, limit people speaking only for 3 minutes, but to give people an opportunity to have their point of view put across before actions are being taken. And I understand that to do that, you have to have some sort of an ordinance, so I would appreciate it if you would at least consider that on a going forward basis. The second thing in terms of potentially enhancing two-way communication, requiring any new business agenda items requiring a vote to have what's called a first reading and a trustees discussion at a preliminary meeting before a vote can be taken at a subsequent meeting. Now, a lot of legislative bodies have what's called a first reading and a second reading, and a lot of them are perfunctory. And the point has been raised to me when I mentioned this to an individual that if we have a requirement to have certain things, and I'm talking here not about items that are already in the budget, just approving it because they're over a dollar amount, but I'm talking more about changes in ordinances or requests for changes in SUPs for building projects, things that are going to impact the way the village does business or the way the village is changing what has been allowed as far as construction and things like that. So I'm asking that you consider that because, once again, sometimes these things come up and they don't go through the Planning and Zoning Board, and they don't have preliminary discussions in the public like we've had in the past with some other issues. Now, once again, this could be limited to just things that are changing ordinance, like a new ordinance, not granting another liquor license, which is technically a change in the ordinance, but changing a new class of liquor license or something like that. Now, the point was made that this might slow down the legislative process, because if we put a 2-week gap between the first reading and when you can actually vote on it, that would slow things down. from a public standpoint, I think that's a little bit hard to understand, since most of the things that this would cover, changes in ordinances and changes in zoning and things like that, are processes that take quite a long time to happen before they come to you. If not months, at least weeks. So if the Planning and Zoning Board and the village can have these kinds of activities ongoing and takes several weeks to months to come before you, I don't think it's unreasonable to give the public at least a 2-week heads up as far as, here's some things that we're considering that might materially change how we do business in the village. So I'm asking you to consider that. And finally, hold at least one town hall kind of meeting each quarter to share a state of the village information and to provide residents, staff, elected officials the opportunity to have more open and productive dialogue. The town hall meeting we had about the East Side, I think, was great. I think if the opportunity for the residents to be able to talk and have their questions answered and have staff present during that time. I realize staff time is you know, they'd be here on their own time, but I think we can benefit from having more of that. The mayor just gave the East Side Committee a briefing on the activity as far as encouraging new businesses to come into town, and it was great. It was eye-opening. It was something I think needs to be shared with the entire community. And I know you do a good job as far as, here's the new businesses that are coming into town, but that's kind of after the fact. But I wasn't aware, and I try to be aware about these kinds of things, but all the work that Ellen and her staff does to get businesses to come here, and some of the hurdles that they have to overcome. And then even once they overcome those hurdles, the fact that not every business who says they're coming is going to be coming, I think puts a lot of things in perspective. So transparency is great, seeing what you're doing, but two-way communication, I think, would not only benefit the process of what trustees need to accomplish, but also go one step further in building the goodwill that you're already doing a great job of trying to build with the community. I thank you once again for your service. Good evening.
Anybody else? No. At this point, the floor is closed. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Valmus, second by Trustee Garner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.